Shenanigans. Today we're gonna go over another card. This time it's gonna be ZEN-OH, the ruler of the universe, or ruler of the universe, with this amazing art, and then the twins right then and there. And it's gonna be the 10-minute Shenanigans this time around. It's gonna be a little bit different. I'm gonna talk about two main things that are coming around and revolving around this leader, and as well as just kind of the pros and cons, because honestly I can't really figure out if this is actually a good leader or not, because I mean, on paper he looks really fun, really cool, a lot of a nice gimmick, I would say, cool design, right? And I think apart from the Vegeta, this is probably the best designed leader when it comes to that ultimate box. Everything else is pretty okay, but just simply because of how this is set up and how Vegeta is set up, I think those are both really well designed. And that's just my opinion. I don't have to be right all the time. However, just to kind of go over this pretty quickly again, this is the expansion leader in the ultimate box that's coming out on August 2nd. As of this month, it's still July. And for his permanent, you cannot include any cards that don't have Universe as a special trait. So at the bottom right of the card, if it doesn't have Universe anything, you can't include it. So that's one thing I'm gonna go over. And then the other thing is that treat all Universe 7, or wow, I'm so used to that. Treat all Universe as traits, that is, as part of their special trait in all areas that have as they had no specified cause. So treat them as if they had no specified cause. So that's very important, and one of the things and why this is called, or this is named, the ZEN-OH paradox. And it's probably not that big of a deal, but I just really wanted to use that title. But this leader attacks, or this card attacks a leader, place at the top 2 to the deck and draw 1 card. You don't have to place up to, or you don't have to do 2 or 1. You can just do 0 and then draw a card. So that's a guaranteed draw every single time. But it has to be the leader card, which is a bummer. But makes sense. They wouldn't change it if they didn't want to already. But this one is a flip to switch to active. And then this is the same exact auto on the other side, but this time around this has a once per turn activate main that you can switch or warp basically 10 cards, so you can have 30 and then do 10, or you can have 11 and then do 10, and then send it from your drop to your warp, and your opponent chooses 2 cards from their hand and place them to the drop area. Again, why I call this a well-designed leader is, one, it's a black leader, which is a bummer in itself, but ZEN-OH doesn't have a side, so this is really good in itself as far as keeping the theme, and then all Universe cards in the deck, and at the same time just warping all of them and erasing them into existence just so you can drop 2 cards is pretty appropriate. So again, there are 2 main things in which I want to talk about, but before I do that, there's a lot of downsides to this. So one, the biggest downside is that it has the original Goku, the green Universe 7 Goku problem for that leader, in which you can't add any extra cards. It can only be Universe 7. This is the same way, in which this doesn't have access to any counters except for Roshi. I can't find any other ones. Topo doesn't count, which leads me to the other issue, in which everything before the tournament of power you can't use. So yes, if we switch over to the actual deck or cards that I wanted to talk through, yeah, you can use the Topo over here, but the only one you can actually use in this deck is the 4-drop yellow Topo, which you don't even get the actual effect where you play it and then you search the top 7 or 10, whatever it is. I don't play Jiren, and then place it in the rest mode. So you have to either hardcast it or try to use that, and then EX Evolve right after that. So the other Topo, which would have been perfect for this if it just had included the previous Universe 7 cards, or Universe 6, or Universe whatever, in this case 11, you can use the red Topo on defense and then EX Evolve on this, or with this. And this is literally the only black card they can use in the Universe deck, or the ZEN-OH deck, because you can't use any Overrealm cards because it doesn't have any universe traits. So again, that's a huge downside in itself. Even the ZEN-OH button and the ZEN-OH Playing God you can't use. Plus, there are a lot of limited cards when it comes to managing a life and taking life. So really, you only have Kunchi, you only have Sidra, and you pretty much only have Vegeta. If there's any other ones that I might be missing, let me know. There's really the again Kunchi, where you can just choose one life, and then if you have another Universe 11 rest mode of 4 or less, this guy is a blocker for 3, which is kind of a lot in itself. You can play choose one card of your life and then KO something, and then this man takes 2, and it gains 3k power for every life or energy you have, and triple strike if you meet the condition. So a lot of downsides to this, right? But there are a lot of upsides. So, I mean, you have access to Bergamo if you want to try to do a kind of control deck. You have access to some of these new expansion cards like Belmont, where you can look at the top 3 or KO something, or this Champa, where you can, which is probably going to be a staple in this deck if you're ever going to play it, and then choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards of 9,000 power or less. And then do it that way, that one, and as well as the Kefla, Khalifa, and as well as Kale leaders can use that one. You have access to the Analaza, the Burst Attack Gohan, even the new, where is he? I didn't add, oh yeah, you did. The last one standing, the new Goku, and as well as using him to EX evolve into the 8-drop Goku, and then as well as into the Victory Strike Goku. But that would kind of require, again, 5 energy, which is kind of hard nowadays, especially with this leader, since you don't have access to extra cards or other counters, and flipping on 5 and then using the 2 for Victory Strike right after that. Which, again, it's pretty cool, because you get to KO something here, you get to do triple attack as long as they don't have a Mafuba or something like that, and then KO something and lose their hand, use their actual, use his Awakened side as far as warping 10 cards and making them drop, and then go for game right after that with Victory Strike, which at that point you're going to be a-okay. Now, and again, I mean, you could use this, but well, the issue is that you can use this, except for it's not yellow, it's black, so you can't even use its effect. And this one kind of goes with these over here. So, and again, 4 drops, which is like the Analaza, the Forcing Hit, the new 17, all these are all 4 drops, in which are, again, kind of a huge downside. You don't want to play these 4 drops in this meta right now, unless you're just playing for fun. But on the bright side, you do have access to this new Hellas, I believe, the Universe 2 God of Destruction, in which you can draw 2 after you place 1 into the drop area, because he is a god. So pretty cool. Now, the only 2 things that I do want to talk about is this Jiren. Yes, the ZEN-OH Paradox in itself is the Jiren, and as well as the Yami's, or Jimmy. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Eggman and Josh. And the thing is that this one, or actually this one, says you can reduce the energy cost in your hand by as many as Universe 11 in your battle area, but you have to pay the specified costs if it exceeds it. Same thing for Yumi's, where it reduces Maniac Squadron by 2 in your hand, but you have to pay the specified costs. But ZEN-OH, because you are playing the card, none of the cards in your deck, and because it is in all areas, have a specified cost. So in theory, you can play Kunchis and the 1-drops and everything else like that, and pretty much if you have 10 of them on the field, you can actually play them for free. Free Jirens all over the place. Same thing for Yumi's. The concept is that on turn 3, you play the Yumi's, and then place 1, warp him, and then on turn 4, you have 4 energy, play it again, and then all the minions in your hand are free. So, well, not all of them, but her, and then as well as the other 2-drop Brienne. Not Rebrand, but Brienne. And then you can just go ahead and just use the maintenance as is. So, what do you think? I know I'm probably a little bit over in time, but what do you think in general of the ZEN-OH the ZEN-OH leader. I do want to get a discussion about this, and I do want to see other suggestions. I do want to see some spice here and there as well, as much as I can, and as much as you can. It might be interesting. I'm gonna try to make a deck with this. I'm in the middle of making a lot of other decks and trying to get deck profiles as much as I can. But as it stands, this is very interesting. It's interestingly designed and made, but practically and the practical side of it all is the issue. So let me know what you think. Subscribe if you're new. Like, dislike, comment, all that other jazz, and I'll see you in the next one. Later.